now, traders at Axis Bank expect current macroeconomic headwinds to drive market sentiment. However, improved offers are seen across the T-bills and the bond curve following the midweek primary market auction, where total subscription were pegged at about 1.13 trillion naira, representing an oversubscription rate of 384.2%. Emmanuel Orji, Treasury Team Member at Axis Bank, joins me now for more market movements. Emmanuel, thanks a lot for your time on the show today. Staggering figures we have here from the midweek PME. However, when we look at the allotment rate that we saw there, it was just left to match the offer, which was initially put at well over about 233 thereabouts. Your take on what's going on right now and the numbers we're seeing come through?
Hi, David. Thanks for having me. We saw the midweek PMA auction where the DMO offered roughly 230 billion across those three maturities: 90 days, 180 days, and 365 days. But at the end of the day, we saw one of the strongest subscription we've seen in months, with over, like you said, over 1 trillion subscription across board. But the DMO ended up just sticking to the gun by selling just 230 billion across those three maturities, which led to the stop rates closing at 18.97. This is roughly 200 basis points when you compare that to the previous auction. So that pretty much shows you the strong appetite that the DMO saw from markets at this auction. Post-auction, we saw those NCB, particularly the long-end trade, as low as 18%. This is roughly 80 basis points lower from where it closed at the previous auction. Nevertheless, we're beginning to see some sort of resistance at that 18% handle, as markets are unwilling to go lower than 80%.
And we're all keeping our fingers crossed as we await the result of the $500 million domestic bond offer. The results are expected today. What's the feelers coming through from the market?
Yeah, so the auction closed a week ago. So I think based on the conversations currently happening in the market, there was a strong subscription at that FGN USD bond auction. I think so the terminals will largely be if the DMO and also the government are willing to oversell at that FGN USD bond auction. So it will kind of be interesting to see what the outcome is. We're expecting to get a communication from the government any day soon or as regards to the outcome of the auction.
Yeah. Emmanuel, I would also let you go without touching on how the recent petrol price hike is also stoking inflationary concern as well now. We're seeing the naira even drop to new lows, 1,630 naira. The early anticipation was that we were going to see a stronger naira rebound, but that's not the case right now, irrespective of all of the good messaging from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now they're likely going to meet and then make their next decision later this month on the 23rd or 24th to the 24th. But in terms of how you see this introduce a new twist and likely changes to the Monetary Policy Committee's likely discussion point and outcome, what's your take here? How do you see the naira faring going forward? And in terms of inflation print, what's your take going forward?
I think the last time we spoke, we were celebrating the fact that the inflation was finally moderating, and we expected it to moderate further. But however, the increase in the price of PMS, which is a very crucial factor to inflation, as we expect to see a ripple effect on both food and core inflation. And so I think the MPC meeting this month was going to be an interesting one. They will most likely be weighing how this impact of the subsidy removal or further subsidy removal impacts inflation. For the print, inflation print we're expecting this September, we should expect it to print lower. But however, the coming inflation after this September will most likely be pressured by the removal of subsidy. So I think the MPC will most likely be forward-looking. Like you said, we're not expecting any rate cuts at this MPC meeting. But however, they'll be contemplating whether increasing slightly or maintaining rates at this level.
And for the naira, what's the fate here?
The naira, it's been a funny one this week. At the beginning of the week, we started on a calm note with NAFEM trading at 15.85, but during the week we've seen some sustained pressure, leading to the NAFEM trading as high as 16.39 yesterday. I think one of the major reasons why we're continuing to see this pressure is that we have not seen any major supply coming to the market. We've seen over the past couple of months, we've seen the CBN intervening gradually in that market. But since the massive sale of roughly 800 million, we have not seen any sort of intervention in our market. I think we'll most likely continue to see more pressures in the FX market until we see some sign of supply coming into the market.
Well, we'll have to leave the conversation here for now. Emmanuel, thanks a lot for your time. That was Emmanuel Orji, Treasury Team Member at Axis Bank.